Today's presenter is Miss Elizabeth Moffitt from the Christopher Quinn Group, correct?
Yes.
She's here to talk to you guys, another attorney. Hopefully, as I said earlier, he has a very funny side. She just stays business and leaves jokes alone because last week was just that bad. Ms. Moffitt,
Yes.
the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much.
And maybe before you get started, something new I want to do this week, because she doesn't know who the hell you guys are. I want you to say your name and your business in less than 20 seconds, something about who you are and what you do. Quick, I'm Rochelle, whatever business. So she knows her audience while she's addressing you guys. Good idea for you?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll start with you.
Hi.
Yes.
My name is Rochelle Glover, and I have a company called Majestic Money Management, and I teach financial literacy, and I teach it to corporations.
Okay.
So if you want to improve production by improving their money flow, call me.
Okay. There you go.
Hi, my name is Armando, and I'm a designer and animator.
Okay.
I bring my friends' vision, my clients' plans, visions alive, and execute them as well.
Hi, my name is Elisa. My business is Roseland Laser, and we provide.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. Very good. I need you to get some, some elevation to that voice and be proud and
Make
excited
Desiree proud. Let's
about
talk
what
about
you're
this.
doing.
Come on.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
Benny, you still tell your name. You got no name, please.
The name is Benjamin Bell Marshall. All my
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right.
My name is Ladrina, and I am the operator of Brook and Jones Legal Services, and I provide paralegal services to individuals and law firms for those that cannot afford an hourly paralegal and for those that cannot afford an attorney. And my areas of laws are PI, criminal, family.
Do you work with mediators?
No, ma'am.
No.
Eventually, hopefully, so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right then.
Well, I'll talk with you about that.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Hi, my name is Aparna Spencer. The name of my company is Find It True. I provide non-invasive and invasive skincare procedures.
Okay. Very good. That's beautiful. Yes, sir.
My name is Andre. I manage a music school for kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Very good. Yes.
My name is Leah White with Cutie Pies, and I bake desserts wholesale for food companies.
I've heard of your company. Cutie Pies. I think I saw it on Facebook. No? Okay. I've seen it though. Yes.
Hi, my name is Eva Taylor. I'm the owner and operator of Eva's House of Barbecue, where barbecue is not all we do. We also specialize in fried chicken and fried fish along with soul food.
Excellent. Very good.
How you doing? My name is Lakeisha Montgomery, and I work with Turning Point Hair Salon, and we do all type of hair services, and I'm also a continuing ed provider, and I help provide continuing ed hours for licensed operators to renew their license.
Wonderful. That is very good. I hadn't heard of that before. That's good though. Yes.
My name is Jasmine Jernigan. The name of my company is Aesthetic Innovations, and we help small businesses to find their visual voice by providing graphic design, photography, and website design services.
Excellent. So do you think you all will be able to do some work together, partner on some things?
Yeah.
Oh,
Matchmaking
see?
going on.
Absolutely. That's the way you need to
Right.
think, where even when you're in this class, you need to be thinking and listening to, what other people are doing and, see if you can't partner and, see how you can help one another. That's very good. Very good. Thank you so much for introducing your amazing businesses. And I'm excited to be here again. I think this is an amazing program, and so I think this is my third or fourth year actually being a facilitator. I love what I do, and I've been doing it for, a lot of years. And so beyond that, I've actually had my own business for 11 years. We just celebrated 11 years on December 14th. So we are a human resources outsourcing organization. And so what that means is as you grow, as you have a need for human resources, that's people, then you contact us and we help you bring on the people that you need in order to run your organization and to be a part of your organization. I actually, I've got a couple of degrees in human resources, when, companies were still paying for tuition reimbursement. My organization paid for my undergrad and my master's. And so that was, it just didn't make sense for me not to take advantage of that opportunity. And so after 14 and a half years, I just didn't want to be in corporate America anymore. So I stepped out and started my own business. I started with a partner, and it didn't go well after 2 years. So we separated, and I walked into an attorney's office, and I said, I need a business. I got the name, I just need you to set it up. He set it up, I had it ready, and was walking into my next client the next day. So by that time, I had built up enough energy, and, because you have to have energy to run a business. I mean, mental energy, physical energy, and spiritual energy. You have got to have all of those in order to run a business. I don't say that I'm gonna quit anymore. And I'm at 11 years. I don't say I'm gonna quit. Okay, when you start saying you're not gonna quit, you're doing good. Okay, but you also need to have some people around you that when you say, I'm ready to quit, they are right there with you to say, no, you're not. This is why you're doing this. They have to bring you back to your vision and why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? So, that's how I actually got started in human resources. When I first got in it, didn't know what it was. I just applied for a job because my friends kept saying, go into HR, go apply for this job. And I said, okay. And I interviewed, they liked me, and that's when it all got started. And so the organization was so huge that I was able to just float from place to place. I went to staffing, then compensation and benefits, and then I went into training. I got certified during that. And so I just got, I just kept feeding myself. And for some reason, my grandma told me that, because I kept, getting all the education. You had an uncle, and he got so smart that he was crazy. And I said, well, Graham, is that what you're trying to tell me? She didn't answer it, but I kind of got the picture. But anyway, it took a while for me to really, really get my footing. And even after 11 years, I went this year into a program much like this, Goldman Sachs. I went through that program. Very, very intense. So I know what you all are going through. Stick with it. Don't give up. Do everything that they tell you to do because it is so important. What I realized is that I had flatlined in 3 years. 3 years straight. I flatlined. That means I came in at the same amount of money, even though my clients changed. I lost clients, I picked up clients, same amount of money, same 3 years. And when I was filling out the application, that's when I realized that I had flatlined. And Mark earlier mentioned, I think it was you, that said you've got to keep watching your money. You've got to keep watching your numbers so that you know where you are. I didn't look at my numbers until the end of the year, and then I didn't compare it to the year before. I finished the program on August 1st this year, and already I've made an additional $100,000 through the end of December. So it made a difference, and I can see how this program will actually help you do the same thing, but you have to follow their instructions. You have to be willing to put some time into it. I can't remember your name back row. Jasmine. You talked about setting aside time for things that you want to do. That was what I had to do because I had so many excuses as it relates to I didn't have time. I was constantly working. I would work from, sometimes 7 in the morning to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, but I was always busy. So now what I've had to do is figure out what my priorities are. If you set your priorities, know what your priorities are, then you won't have a problem putting the time to them that you need to. And that's what I've had to do this year. You talked about resolutions. I don't really believe in resolutions. I believe in, setting some, some goals that are, that I know that I'm going to achieve. Because if I set them so high and I don't achieve them, then I'm that kind of person that's going to just let it go. I'm just, I'm accustomed to just letting it go. But now that I know what my priorities are, that's where my focus will be, okay? So if you'll keep that in your mind as we go through tonight, setting priorities. And I'm actually doing a session on Saturday. I love doing these type of courses, but I'm actually doing a class called Prioritizing Priorities, helping individuals learn how to set their priorities, because sometimes you just can't get there on your own. I bring my whole team into the conversation when we're setting goals. It's not just about me. Yes, it's my organization, but I want individuals around me that want to be a part of what I'm doing. If they don't want to be a part, then I help them find jobs elsewhere. I don't just fire people, I will help them find another job. And so I hope you guys enjoy what I'm bringing you today, because I'm excited about it because I've been doing it for so long. So anyway, I'd like to introduce you to Human Resources Law and Compliance. I'm Liz Moffitt, the president of the organization. And Sonia, if you will turn that to the next slide for me, we'll actually get going since you've heard so much about me now. Okay, now as it relates to compliance, there is so much information that you actually have to know as a business owner. How many of you have employees that you're responsible for on a daily basis? Okay, all right, very good. How many of you are in the process of bringing on employees? Okay, you have some, and you're in the process of bringing on more. Okay, now have you put in place a goal as it relates to when you think you will bring someone on?
I
When-
plan on bringing on, contractors.
Okay, bringing on contractors. Okay, now do you know the difference between a contractor and an employee?
Yes, I'm not responsible for the taxes and all that, is one of the keys.
Yes, that's one of the key elements. That's one of the key elements, but the most important element is that if you control what they do, when they do it, how they do it, you provide the equipment that they use to do it, then they're employees. Whether they work off-site, whether they, no matter where they work, they're still an employee. Yeah, so you just have to be careful with that. The more control that you have over that person and what they do, they're not a contractor. Okay? Yeah.
So I do have two. I have two contractors.
Okay, all right, yeah. Just go back and there is a checklist online that you can actually pull from the government website that you can go down that checklist and, see how much you're controlling their work and when and where.
And is that?
No, it's not this website, but if you'll just do a Google search on, checklist for independent contractors, you'll get some checklist that comes up and that'll help you. Yes, I saw another hand. Yes.
Well, since you said that even though they're contracting, if you provide the equipment and, everything, then does that give them the right to be able to file on their unemployment?
No.
Okay.
If they are true independent contractors, they do not get to file unemployment, okay? And one of the things, and I'm telling you this because I just got audited, and one of the things that they told me is that, if they don't have other clients, for example, if you're, if you're bringing on a social media strategist to do your, Twitter and Facebook and all of that, to do all that posting for you. If they don't have any other clients, then most likely, and you're providing the information for them to put on your site, then most likely they're not a contractor. Yeah, they even asked for the phone number of some of my contractors so that they could call them and make sure. Yeah, yeah, so you can get audited for no apparent reason. I got audited one time just because I used a P.O. box. Yeah, it scared me to, the living daylights out of me, but when she got there, I did ask, why did I get chosen? And she said, because you got a P.O. box. I said, oh, okay. It didn't make me feel any better, but they don't have to have any real reason to come to audit you, okay? So always have your stuff in order. Paperwork, taxes, everything, receipts, keep everything somewhere filed and in order.
We use, in my business, we use subcontractors in what we do.
Self-control,
Subcontractors.
subcontractors, okay?
And we issue, I think it's a 1099 at the end of the year.
Yes.
That's what we do. So
Uh-huh.
to kind of keep us, and then they sign off on it.
Yeah,
Then people go, now, kind of keep it from them.
yeah. Even though you give them a 1099, that doesn't prove that they are an independent contractor. Yeah. So just, get that checklist, go through, make sure that, you're following everything that, the government says as it relates to independent contractors. And then, you can have them sign off. Yes.
So what's the process to make, to get employees?
The process, okay, the way that this is laid out, it's actually a checklist that you can actually follow, and you can pull this out anytime. I gave you a copy of the presentation that I have that you can take notes on. I'm so used to having a backup plan just in case the technology doesn't work. You've got a copy of the presentation, so you can take notes on that, and so you can actually use that. But the process is one of the things that we're actually going to talk through. And by all means, ask questions as we go through this, okay? All right. So I did pull this information because you can find a lot of good information on the website when you do get ready to bring on someone to work with you. You want to know what the wages and hours are. Number one, you need to start with, what do I need this person to do? Okay? Is it going to free you up from doing something else? Okay? If it's not gonna free you up to do what you need to do, there's a chance that, you need to sit down, start a list of what is it that this person's going to do, otherwise they'll just be sitting there. Okay, and there's gonna be days that you'll be mad and looking at them from the back of the head saying, you ain't doing nothing. Why am I doing all this? You're talking to yourself in there and they happy. Okay, so know what you're gonna have them to do, know what you're gonna hold them accountable for, and have regular conversations with them. Don't just have a conversation, when they do something bad. Have some conversations with them all the time. Okay, when they're doing good, when they're doing some things that they need to improve on, make that a constant conversation as opposed to once a year. Okay, safety and health standards, of course, based on your organization, what kind of safety standards you have to follow. But there's also some additional standards that you want to put in place, because everybody that works with you needs to have safety at the top of their mind, okay? Health benefits, retirement standards, and workers' compensation. Those are things that, that you'll need to know based on how many employees that you have, okay? Other workplace standards, those are things that you want to set, like your hours. What are your hours? What are your business hours? Those are things that you want to have in place so that you can talk to your employees like an employee handbook, so that you can actually go through that handbook and teach them about how to ask for time off. It doesn't mean call the day of and say, hey, I'm not coming in today. How are you gonna feel about that?
So
Because
it's
somebody's gotta
essential
do
that we
it.
need a handbook in any business that we have.
Huh?
It's essential that we have a handbook. It's
Yeah.
essential.
Yeah, it is. Because if you don't, and you've got employees, how are you going to, what are they following? Are they just waiting on you to tell them, what's next, or do you want them to be coming to you every time they have a question? If you've got an employee handbook, that is, a highlight of everything that you want them to follow. If you want weapons on your property, then, don't put it in your handbook. But if you don't want weapons on your property, you need to put it in your handbook that they can't bring, handguns on your property. Okay, so you gotta know what's important to your organization, because with what you all do, you work seasonally. When it's hot, people's, attitudes get, yeah, yeah. Not that I do that. Yes,
So your company actually, if I wanna outsource my HR work, that's what your company do, so you do
Yes.
payroll and things like that?
yes.
So can you explain what that looks like, because it scares me, because
Okay.
I've been trying to make all my people be contractors, and trying to figure out how you can go through loopholes to make it, but you just can't in some businesses.
Right.
Can you tell me what that looks like as far as like, what's required by the laws? I know they've sent me things such as you need to have this posted up, but it costs money, so I ignore it.
The postings?
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
like the post that the
Yeah.
thing about minimum wage,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
But what does it look like to, not necessarily pay you, because of course, whatever your fee is what
Right.
it is. But
Right.
like, what are you looking to pay? Because the major thing, the reason it scares me is because you're paying money for some reason to keep everything in line. What does that look like?
Yeah, the government doesn't charge you those posters. Those are other organizations that send you that information, and they will, put, what is it? They will, say it again? Yeah, they'll laminate it so that it's pretty. I printed mine off the website and stuck them up on the wall. As long as you put them in a place where everyone, is going to be able to see them. So put them in a common area. Like if everybody goes to the kitchen, or the break room, then post them up in the break room. But you can actually go online and just Google it. Google free, posters, free government posters, and you can print them off and just post them up on the wall.
I guess I'm trying to say, like, what else is required, like, as far as money that you're paying out, and
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. When
That has
you're,
always been a scary topic for me.
Yeah. okay, all right. Now, number one, don't let anything frighten you, okay? So just move that word from your vocabulary. Don't live in fear, because there is always someone who can help you do whatever you don't know what to do, okay? I just started learning how to do bookkeeping 4 years ago, and that was after 2 or 3 classes. I just didn't like it. But there are so many bookkeepers out there that, that I could go to. I'm still responsible. Don't ever get it wrong. You can outsource it, but you're still responsible, okay? So don't be afraid of, what you think you cannot do. Because if you can't, then you can actually outsource it and have it done outsourced, okay? So as a human resources organization, what we do is we come in, first thing that we do is an audit. I don't start anything without doing an audit. I wanna see what you've been doing, how you've been doing it, because I need to know if you know how to do what you're supposed to be doing, because I don't just take it over, I train all at the same time. Because I don't want you to just come to me and unload it on me. I don't mind making the money, but as a business owner, someone in your organization needs to know how to do everything that we do, okay? And there's sometimes, I've just picked up a client, he doesn't wanna have anything to do with his human resources. But I still, at the end of the month, will send him a status report of everything that we worked on, everything that we did, everything that we need his signature on. I get that to him so that I give him an explanation as relates to why I need this information, okay? So, but as we go through this process, I promise I'm gonna answer some of those questions for you, okay? Okay, we can go to the next one, because we're gonna cover some of this same information in some of the other slides. Okay, now, here are the thresholds for major federal laws. And I say federal laws because there's also state laws too that you also have to follow. But the federal laws, if you have 15 or more employees, then you've got to follow the Americans with Disabilities Act law, okay? So, Title VII, if you have 15 or more, does anybody know what Title VII is? Okay, Title VII is the Civil Rights Act of 1964, okay? And that covers all of those laws like age discrimination, race discrimination, religion, all of those things that puts a person into a protected class, okay? So you need to know those if you have 15 or more employees, okay? Okay, now, ADEA, Americans with Disabilities Employment Act, that's 20 or more, okay? Now, this is one thing that gets people in trouble. People that come in that may have a disability, or you might ask, do you have a disability? You can't ask that type of question, okay? What you need is a job description. You need a job description that lays out everything that that person is going to be doing, and that job description needs to lay out how, if they're gonna be lifting, how much poundage are they going to be lifting? Is it 50 pounds, 75 pounds? Are they gonna be working in, torrential rains, outside, in a warehouse, in an office space, wherever they're going to be working? You need to have that in the job description. So when you give that job description to the individual, you say, please take a moment to look at this, and after they're done, is there anything on that job description that you think you cannot do without accommodations? Okay? That means that you don't have to do anything like, go and buy a lower desk because, if the one that you have is too tall. So if it's going to bring hardship on your organization, then you need to know that. Okay? So that's how you ask that question and get that answer. Okay? All right. FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, is 50 employees. And Family Medical Leave Act is, for companies that, have that number of employees, and that family medical leave is for you or whoever to take time off to care for themselves, their own illnesses, or an immediate family member who cannot take care of themselves, okay? But you don't have to worry about it if you don't have 50 employees. PDA, that's Pregnancy Disability Act, meaning that if you have 15 employees, you can't not hire a person because they're pregnant, okay? That make sense? Okay, all right. Laws with no exceptions, the child labor and minimum wage provisions in the Fair Labor Standards Act apply to virtually every employer, and the Equal Pay Act applies even if you have only one worker, okay? So whatever you decide that you're going to pay that individual, then you need to do some research and figure out, what does the industry pay? What can your organization afford to pay? Okay, all of that information you need to know prior to. Immigration Reform and Control Act, if you have any employees, you better be doing I-9s. Because if you get audited, you're gonna get audited for every person that you don't have complete an I-9. It's not like they will come in and they'll do an audit and they find 5 or 10 people that don't have I-9s, and they'll say, okay, I'm gonna fine you one time. They're gonna fine you 15 times, and you still have to get those forms done, okay? Now, the I-9 form, the immigration form, is the form that you are supposed to be checking their ID to see if they have the right to work in the United States, okay? So now, I know we're not professionals as relates to verifying people's social security cards, passports, whatever the case may be, but as long as you do your absolute best, you're signing off on that document saying that you actually looked at that document, okay? To prove that that person has the right to work in the United States. So you have to do it, okay?
You know, subcontractors, you have to have them separate.
It's not on contractors. Okay. Question?
I'm aboard.
All right then. I'll still be here. Okay, illegal employment practices, you gotta know about these, okay? Illegal, that word should, be a word that, kind of scares you anyway. Refuse to hire because of race, color, national origin, sex, physical disability, or age. Those are those protected classes that I was telling you about, meaning that you cannot say, okay, I'm not gonna hire you because you're black. I'm not gonna hire you because you're from another region, okay? I'm not gonna hire you because you're female. So you cannot make those decisions unless you have a BFOQ, which is a bona fide occupational something that says that if you, for example, if you were working with children and the majority of them were male, you could say you wanted to hire a male for times that the boys need to be cared for, and a girl for the times that the girls need to be cared for. Okay, that's a bona fide occupational qualification. That was that word I was looking for. Okay, all right. Ask about previous mental and physical disabilities during an interview. Illegal. Again, use the job description. Let them read it. Let them take as long as they need to. And if you can, give it to them ahead of the interview so that they can actually read it and you can ask, can you perform this job without any accommodation? That's all you gotta say, okay? Use a screening technique that cannot be proved to be directly job related. When you use a screening technique, and we use a lot of different screening techniques, but it varies depending on what the job is. Now, if it's for an executive assistant or office worker, then we're gonna test them for Microsoft Office Suite if they're going to be using it. If they're not going to be using it, there's no need in spending your money to get them tested, right? Okay, so we also use behavioral type assessments when we get, when we start doing executive hiring, because we want to know what their behavioral style is. Okay, you can see behavior, right? You can see attitude, right? Okay, so sometimes a person's attitude will keep them, or their behavior will keep them from being a good fit for a certain environment. Okay, now how many of you like to be in tight spaces? You don't? Anybody else don't care? You can work anywhere, even if it's in a closet. Okay, all right, that's good. That's good for the interviewer to actually know. Because I've interviewed someone before that, before they got the job, said, oh my God, just give me a computer, I'll work in the closet. Well, when she got there, she needed, very big office, she needed, all of these other things. So I had taken notes. I always take notes when I do interviews. And so I just politely went back to my notes, and I just reminded that individual of what was said in the interview. What's changed? Well, that was the way she always was. Okay? So you have to continue to ask questions until you get what you need to make sure you get the right person. I talked to Sonia for a year before I hired her. Yeah. I know, right? She is so awesome. And to come out here with me tonight, she was excited about coming. I'm like, yay. Okay, so, request information about police records or arrest records that the applicant may have, which have not resulted in convictions. Because, there are some laws that says that you cannot refuse a person in employment just because they've been arrested. Okay? Now, of course, you have to be cautious depending on what that person's convictions have been. If it's been forgery, you don't want them doing accounting, you don't want them in that position. It's not that they wouldn't do it again, but you want to be cautious, okay? You want to be cautious, and so ask as many questions as you possibly can, and do background checks, okay? You have to do background checks. Do your due diligence.
Record of people that you're interviewing?
Yes.
Okay, is there a website, is it?
There's a lot of websites. You can either buy into a database that has all of, the history of everybody in there, or you You can actually go county per county online and actually pull it yourself, depending on how many counties they've been in. And then some counties don't provide it at all, or if they do, it takes days and weeks.
What if you lived in another Kentucky and you moved there? Is there like a worldwide database?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are worldwide or nationwide is what they call them, and you have to be willing to pay for it. It does cost a bit more, but it's worth it. You're gonna be bringing that person into your environment along with the rest of your employees, so you wanna be careful, okay? All right. Okay, hiring a superior workforce. Systemize your process for hiring. What do I mean by that? Whatever you decide to do for one position that you have open, follow that same process and that same flow for the rest of the positions and people that you're gonna be hiring for your organization, okay? So set up a systemized, process for hiring. Keep track of your recruiting efforts. So tell me why you think that's important. Keeping track.
So you don't go back to the same place?
Yeah, so you don't go back to the same place, yes?
Well, if you have really quality applicants from one place versus another, if you realize, well, these pool of applicants aren't so great, then you kind of keep track of where they're coming from.
Right, absolutely. That's another good reason. Okay, anybody else have any others? Because there's plenty.
Audit or something about that you were discriminating.
Yeah.
You can be able to pull from your, that you know. pull
Yeah,
from your notes.
absolutely. Yeah, go back to your notes. Now, notes can get you in trouble or they can save you behind. Okay? I'm gonna teach you the way to save you behind. Okay? I don't want you going to jail and I ain't going for you. Now, when you take notes, sometimes individuals will tell you information that you don't need to know. Even if you tell them, please stop, I don't need to hear that. They will still tell you. I have gotten up out of my seat and said, please, do not tell me that information. And they'll still tell me, okay? And then I have to not put that information in my notes, okay? Because if they tell me that they are 41, they are they're Muslim, they are, it could be a number of things, but if I write those things down and then I don't hire that person, they can come back and say that I hired them because they were over 40. Okay, I didn't hire them because they were over 40, okay? And so when you're talking to individuals, don't make comments about you want to bring in a young individuals because they're smarter, they have a lot more energy, all that. Don't make those kind of statements because they can come back to haunt you, okay? So in your notes, if it does not have anything to do with whether they can do the job or not, don't ask it, don't write it down, okay? Do we care whether a person has a car or not? No?
Well, unless it's in the job description that they need to have a car.
Like, that's one of the main things I ask, because I be delivery driver, so I don't always have a second car for them to use.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. Now, if the job does not require driving or driving their vehicle, or it doesn't matter whose vehicle they're driving, can you get that kind of information? Should you, or how do you get that kind of information?
I asked, probably part of my ask, because, I'll be honest with you, I have actually picked up people
Okay.
to work, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be doing this.
No, you're not.
So I asked, do you have transportation
Uh-huh.
on the application? Now, they said no, I'm wrong, because it's kind of guessing everything I'm trying to, I gotta pick you up, take you to work,
Okay.
pay you, take you.
Are you on a bus route to where they can ride the
No,
bus?
no.
Can they walk?
No,
Okay.
no,
All right.
yeah, like, no.
Okay. Yes.
Well, I think it's interesting that he said he asked if they have transportation to and from work.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can you ask if they have transportation versus do you have a car? Those are two different things.
Right.
You don't have to ask either one of those.
Really?
What you can ask, what you can do is That job description, again, is your savior.
Mhm.
What are the core hours of your organization? What are the hours that you want that person to work? If it's in there, if you've talked about it, what you can do is say, these are the hours of the organization, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Sometimes you're gonna work on a weekend. Are you able to make those hours, be on time, be committed to the job, and do a good job? You don't care how they get to work, okay? Just get there. That's how you go about asking that question.
And it's actually because if they say, no, I don't have transportation, you, in your mind, you like, I don't know how you gotta pick you up and things like that, they
Yeah.
can go back and say you discriminate against them because of, is that the reason why you're saying not to ask?
Not as, no, that's not a discrimination thing at all. It's just something that you don't need. I mean, you can better protect yourself, because if they start going down that rabbit hole of, I'm in a protected class, I'm black, I'm over 40, this, I'm that, all those things that we talked about as protected classes, then it's up to you as the employer to prove it didn't happen. And you don't wanna have that kind of information in your notes, because once it's in your notes and your notes are sequestered for court, you cannot prove that you didn't use that information to make a hiring decision. Okay, you can talk about it as long as you want to, but you've got it in your notes. Yes,
Can you ask for, their driver's license number and information like that?
once you make them an offer,
But you have to make the offer first?
yes, and you can make it contingent upon, a clean driving record.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
What
Yeah.
if you put it in an application form, for them to fill out, and you have those questions outlined?
Mhm.
Can you use it like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can use it like that, but you don't ask to see it, okay? You don't ask for a copy of the driver's license, is that what you're talking about, or?
And if somebody, say, when come work, they got a probably thing I'm gonna fill out,
Uh-huh,
and I got all these questions outlined in it,
uh-huh.
as for driving license, transportation, and all that's in it.
What you wanna do is make that a separate page, that's not a part of your application. If they need to be able to drive and have a clean record, you need to have the proper form for them to complete and give you that information, so that when you send it out to, someone to do the background check, then, they don't have access to everything that belongs to that person. Yeah. Am I working your world?
I'm learning.
Okay then, yes, that's what I like. Go ahead.
Okay, but for my understanding, are we talking about two separate issues? Are we talking about a job description that requires driving, and then are we just talking about an employee that just needs to get to work on time? Because it looks like we got two separate issues. These two individuals, they're employees that they needs to drive to, need transportation
Uh-huh,
to actually drive for the job description.
right.
And then in other cases, we're talking about transportation to actually get to the workplace.
Mhm.
So there's two different
Yeah.
scenarios.
You still want to have that separate form that is going to give you everything that you need in order to do a background check or motor vehicles check. You want to be able to have that form separate, okay? But the job description does set the stage for you to be on course to not ask inappropriate questions, okay? That's good, yes.
So if they see the job description requires, like in her situation, then she doesn't have to ask.
Yes.
That's what you're saying, okay,
Yeah, if they see that she has posted a job and it requires driving
they shouldn't apply.
and a clean driving record, they're gonna apply anyway, but she still has, her due diligence to do. Okay? And that's something that they can ask in the interview about the driving record. Most people are gonna tell you the truth about their driving record. And once you do the criminal background, if you make them an offer, it's contingent upon having a clean record anyway. Okay? All right. Okay, determine the need for a new or replacement position. And that's again, sitting down, figuring out exactly what that person's going to be doing. determine the need. If you don't have a need, if you just wanna have more people on your payroll, okay, call me. But, and, you know, I'll come over and take a check. But if you don't, if you get to the point where you see, okay, the list of things that this person is going to do is not much, and that can be done by someone else, then, you know, it's important that you know that. You don't wanna hire a full-time person and only need someone 2 hours a day, okay? Okay, develop and prioritize the key requirements needed from the position and the special qualifications, traits, characteristics, and experience you seek in a candidate, okay? We all know that there are some people that we don't get along with. Not me, of course. But when you are in the interview, you wanna be looking for cues about that person. Body language. Are they shutting me out? Are they giving me the stink eye? What are they doing? Because you wanna read body language as much as you're capturing document, you know, the information that they're telling you. Because if you feel like you cannot work in a setting with that person, or they're gonna wreak havoc on your staff, then you need not bring them in. Just had to fire somebody who did that. Just couldn't do it no more. Couldn't do it. And when you get to that point, you'll know. And I have people all the time that call me, oh my God, I got family working with me and I can't fire them. Yeah, you can. If you can't, I can. I don't know them. I don't know them, I'll fire them for you. Have done it. We'll do it. Write the check. Okay? But that's the way that you have to think as a business owner. Whatever you're doing, be the best at it. Okay? Because there's gonna be somebody else that comes along and they're gonna claim that they do the exact same thing that you do. No, they don't. Okay? Because whatever belongs to you, whatever is yours belongs to you. Okay? So there's been several different human resources consultants that I've come in contact with. They don't do things the way that I do. So I don't worry about it. I take what's mine and move on. Okay? And that's the way you have to be. Yes. Thank you. Okay, all right, selection. Now this is a big part of, you know, deciding whether I bring someone in and deciding how to bring someone in. Through the selection process, develop that job description. You're gonna, whenever I get a job to, or a client that wants me to hire, first thing I do is I gotta get a job description. Okay, what is it that you're gonna have this person doing? What do you require this person to have in order to do this job? What kind of equipment are they gonna be using? What kind of software? So I'm gonna ask all these questions so that I can actually put together a job description that's going to help me do a template. I use that template as my interview template. And I just go through and that's how I ask my questions using job description. Okay, so it's multi-purpose. Okay, and it just helps you to not have to create so many different things. Okay, determine the salary range for the position. You can get that kind of information from Texas Workforce Solutions. You can you know, go to different websites like salary.com, salaryexpert.com. You can go to you know, I've actually gone to universities because a lot of them will post their whole compensation package out there. So I will go and I will look and I'll compare the job, not the title, compare the responsibilities, because there's a lot of different admins or office workers, but if you're not looking at what the responsibilities are, you could actually end up paying someone too much or too little based on what you have. You made that determination based upon a job title. Okay? All right, now develop your candidate pool of diverse candidates. What do I mean by diverse candidates? You want to bring in as many candidates as you possibly can. You want to start out with looking at their resume to see if they have the minimum qualifications from what you can see on the resume. Okay? I do an ABC pile every time. A is good. B, if A doesn't work. C, probably won't ever get to look at it anymore. Okay? So I start with looking at what is needed. What do they have? What am I seeing on this, you know, on this resume? Then, what do I do? Then I start calling people. Okay? But in order to get those individuals, you have to start posting your job in different places. That doesn't mean put your whole job description out there, just come up with some real pertinent information about the job and post that, okay? Because most people don't read the posting. They see the title and they send their resume. It is so disheartening. And then when I call them, well, I applied to so many different jobs. How does that make me feel? I didn't stand out. And I didn't stand out enough for you to even do any research on my company. You just criticized. I just feel so bad.
Now, you do the posting or my company does the posting? You
I
the
do,
posting?
yeah.
Okay.
I take on the whole process.
Okay.
We spread the word. You know people in your industry. You know people better than we do in some cases. Start spreading the word, calling individuals, saying, hey, I got this job open. This is what I'm looking for. Don't just say, I got a job opening, because you're going to get all of their cousins, their sisters, their brothers, and they're not going to have hardly anything that you need in order to do that job, okay? But educate them on what you're looking for, okay? Yes.
As far as the job boards go, are there any job boards that you would recommend us using if we are trying to post a job or a job opening?
It really depends on your industry.
Okay.
There are industry type boards that, like for education, that you can use those. Administrative assistants or office workers, there's an association for that you can post to. Not all of them are free, okay? But you can, we have found some really creative ways to find some really good candidates. You know, post it on Facebook, you know, and telling your friends, you know, go and like this, so that, you know, everybody knows somebody who is looking for a job, okay? But again, education is the key. Over 80% of people are hired based on people that they know, okay? 80%. Now, if you know that 80% of people are hired based on a referral, why spend $400 on Monster for 30 days when you've got how many friends? How many church friends? How many people in the grocery store? Just open your mouth, okay? We do that, okay? Those are things we do. I'm not embarrassed about it. It's just what I do. If you're gonna do it well. Job boards, social media, university career centers, they don't charge you anything. You can actually, and they have alumni. They have alumni that continues to come back and look to see what kind of jobs are available. So post your jobs on university career centers. Temporary help agencies, that would be another place. If you don't know for sure, you want to test them before you hire them, temp agency, we even do that, okay? Now, phone screen the short list of candidates. You know I said A, B, and C? Start calling your A list of people, okay? And you want to have some specific questions that you ask, because this is just a telephone screen. You want to listen for how well are they sounding on the phone. Are they going to be answering the phone for you? If they're going to be answering the phone for you, you want to know how they're going to sound, okay? Can they speak well? If not, and that's a part of the job, you probably, that's a representative of your organization, okay? You want to listen for how well they communicate and how well they listen. Listening is one of the biggest parts of communication. So if they have to continue to ask you what you said, there's something wrong, okay? So sometimes when if I got a candidate and I see them and I call them and I can hear the kids, I can hear the dogs barking, I'm gonna ask, is this a good time for you? I got your resume and I would like to speak with you. When is a better time if this is not a good time, okay? So I'm very flexible, because when I do that, I get more information from the candidate. I can help them help them feel a little more comfortable, so that they know that I'm really invested in helping them find a job, okay? All right. Interviewing, schedule the interviews and culture, look for culture fit and technical qualifications. Now, culture, why is culture important?
Well, I mean, if your company culture is kind of upbeat and fun and like a Google work atmosphere where things are more laissez-faire,
Uh-huh.
then you probably may not hire somebody that's very straight line or
Yeah.
used to boundaries and
Uh-huh.
constraints and things like that.
Absolutely. Very, very good. Okay, this is a picture of me, what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? 2013, this was my picture. And I'm in the cover too, so we kind of took up the whole book. But anyway, that was me, that was my hair, several years ago. Well, I have a small organization. Culture to me means that you are really a part of your employees' lives as much as they want you in it, okay? Because you're around them every day. One of my employees got cancer. She had chemo. It was devastating because I could not envision her not being there every day. I couldn't envision her going through what she was going through. Her hair, I mean, she had a thick head of hair, and that was one of the things that she talked about. I'm gonna lose my hair. I'm gonna lose my hair. And I said, I know, but it's just hair. I wasn't going through the situation. So that was the last time that I said that. So I said, when you get your hair cut off, I'll get mine cut off. I went and, because I got afraid, and I said, because I've never been shaven bald. And so I went and I had just a little bit shaved on the side so that I could kind of see, you know, what my head looks like under there, and to see if I was, you know, gonna back out. And it's like, I can't back out. I cannot back out. She asked me if my husband would, you know, cut her hair off, and I said, well, sure he will. And then, of course, I had to, you know, get my husband to say, okay, please do this for me. And so he did. He set up, you know, the chairs, just everything amazing, and he shaved her hair. Tears rolling down her face. I'm, you know, same. When she got down, I jumped up there, and my husband's like, "You gonna get your hair cut off?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go." So I got my hair cut off and shaved. It was just like yours. And I had to walk into a room full of business executives, 25, exactly. 25 business executives that I wanted to do business with a bald head. And it didn't bother me until I got halfway there. I started panicking. I mean, I could just feel my heart just feeling like it was gonna come out of my chest. And so, thank God I had further to drive that day. And so, when I got there, I walked in the room and I screamed. I just screamed as loud as I could, just so that I could get the anxiety off of me, and so that I could have an opportunity to say, "Hey, it's me, Liz. I'm back." And I sat down and we went on with, you know, with class. And so, anyway, that's culture. That's my culture.
So you did it because,
I did it because I wanted to,
I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't ask that, but I wanted to,
it's okay.
okay.
I did it because I felt like that was the only part of that process that I could go through with her. I couldn't do the chemo. I couldn't go through the changing of her nails. I couldn't go through that, but I could cut off my hair.
We'll take a break on that, Bob. Yeah, we'll take a break. All right, guys, we don't be all night. We're gonna go ahead and get started again.
All right, you ready for me to get going?
Back on you.
Okay, all right, well, thank you so much. Welcome back from your break. I hope you had a wonderful time getting out of your seats and stretching your legs. So talk about, human resources and compliance, okay? All right, so, yes, please. Okay, now, when you get ready to interview, all of these things are real important, okay? I'm not gonna go through all of them, and I didn't wanna overwhelm you, but I'm looking at this and it's like, oh gosh. But all of these things are really important whenever you're getting ready to interview. You wanna make sure that you pick an appropriate site, okay? Try to interview all of your candidates in the same place. If you're gonna take them to lunch, take all of them to lunch, okay? If you're gonna have your meeting in a conference room, try to have all of your interviews in the conference room. The more consistent you are, the least chances you have of someone coming back and, you know, and saying that you did something inappropriate or said something inappropriate. Just your questions, make sure you write them down. You're asking everybody the exact same question, okay? Does that make sense? Consistency. You don't wanna start asking one person, you know, 1, 3, and 5, and then the next person 2, 4, and 6, okay? You wanna stay in line. Now, if you have a list of questions and you get to the point to where you don't, you already know. You're not it, you're not the one, go ahead and cut it, okay? If I'm in the interview with you, I have codes, okay? I have codes, and if you go past that code, you go get another one, okay? Because there's no point in wasting their time, there's no point in wasting your time, okay? So it's either, and I tell you beforehand, it's either pushing a pen to the corner of the desk, so, you know, the person is not aware what is going on. I won't do anything like this, you know, unless you really don't get it, or I can kick you under the table, which I've done before as well. But he was asking inappropriate questions, I had to do it. But you, as long as you're staying in line, you can ask that person 3 questions and, you know, and tell them what the next step in the process is, ask them if they have questions, and then go ahead and cut it off. You don't have to go through all 12 of the questions that you asked the other person, because you've already, you know, based on their responses to those first 3 questions, you know that they won't be a good fit, okay?
Handle the question, so do you think I have a possibility of getting this position?
I really like that question because it gives me the opportunity to tell them whether they're a good fit or not.
What do you say?
And I usually tell them, well, I really do see that you have a lot of great qualities. But once we, you know, since we've been in the interview, I'm seeing that you don't have exactly what I'm looking for. So that gives you an out, that gives you an opportunity to say, well, you are on the top of my list. I do have several other people that I'm looking at as well, but I really like, and you tell them what it is that you like about them. Because one thing you wanna do is you wanna leave a good impression, because those people go and talk. And you don't want them to go and say that, oh my God, that was the worst interview ever. You want to be able to coach them on how to move forward into their next opportunity. And I've had so many interviews that it's just, you know, it's just maddening. But I try to find a way to tell a person, you know, hey, this is, you know, you didn't do good here, but if you focus on these things, here are some jobs that are better suited for you, okay? Because I get calls, and when they call and you ask, well, what are your skills? Well, I got a lot of skills. I can do anything. I can't do nothing with that. I can't. I cannot do anything with that, but I don't wanna leave them wounded. I don't wanna say, okay, that's not gonna work for me. What I will do is say, okay, what you have to do is you have to narrow down what your skill sets are, where you're going to be good at. What have you spent the most time doing? What is your passion? So I'm asking them questions that I ask when I'm actually coaching someone. So they're getting free coaching because that's a paid service. When someone really doesn't know how to interview, I provide interview coaching. So I'm on both sides of the fence. But here's what I tell my clients. I will not teach you how to lie. What I will do is pull from you your own examples, and I can tell if they're not yours because you will be stammering. If they're not yours, I'm gonna know, and I'm gonna tell you I know, okay? Because I'm pretty frank, because I don't want them paying me and don't walk away with, what they need in order to do a good job on the next interview. Okay, so, hope that helped. Pick your best time, not the best time of the candidate, okay? You know when you are at your best. If you're at your best in the morning, have your interviews in the morning. You don't wanna have your interviews in the afternoon after you've had lunch and you're tired, they're tired, everybody done ate fried chicken and you're sleepy, okay? You're not gonna get the best out of them and you're not gonna wanna pull anything out of them. So do it in the morning if that's your best time. When I do trainings, I tell people, don't go and eat crazy stuff. Go and get a cup of soup and come on back here because I don't wanna have to turn cartwheels to keep y'all awake. But, you know, I'll throw paper at them, no, I'm kidding. But, you know, I know that, so I know when I do my best. So, and in the mornings, when I'm doing an all-day teaching, because I teach through Mountain View College as well, so when I teach in the mornings, I know I'm good, I'm hyper, but in the afternoons, because I won't eat lunch. I won't eat lunch unless it's an apple, a couple raisins, whatever it is, but I'm gonna have my energy up because I'm gonna keep them out of their seats the rest of the afternoon. Because they done went out and ate stuff that I told them not to eat, so I can keep them awake. So allow enough time to give a proper interview. If you know you're not gonna have enough time, don't try to squeeze in an interview. Don't try to squeeze in a meeting, don't try to squeeze in things that are important, okay? Make it a priority. If it's important, you wanna take the time that you need in order to get the right person. Take a few moments to build rapport and assess nervousness of the candidate. You don't wanna just fly right in there and just start asking questions. Okay, tell me about yourself. Okay, tell me about the jobs that you've had. Okay. Help them settle down. A lot of times they are nervous, okay? And a lot of times it's because they're not prepared, okay? So help them, and I know that there are some type A people that, you know, don't like talking about kids, don't like talking about the dog, don't like talking about the flowers, you'll drive in, let's just do what we gotta do and get on with it, okay? But you have to do what that person needs in order for you to get what you need, okay? So sometimes it's not about you, it's about the other person, okay? All right, tell the candidate how the interview process will proceed, let the candidate do the talking. How much time should you be talking as an interviewer? 20%? Who said 12? Who said something?
I did, I said
12, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Either way, as long as you're talking less than the candidate, you're doing good. It's either 70-30 or 60-40 or 80-20. 80-20 is good. That means that you're getting the information that you need out of the candidate. You're observing, you're listening, you're taking notes, and zip it. Okay? Don't cut people off. Okay, next one. Okay, evaluation. This is a critical time. And if you're the only person that's going to be interviewing that individual, you need to make sure that you're doing a job candidate evaluation form, and I gave you one in your packet, just so that you can see. That doesn't mean you have to use this one. This is the one that I use the most, and it just kind of gives you, you can do the same evaluation on every candidate. Be consistent, okay? And know what your scale is. Is it 1 to 5, 1 to 3, whatever the case may be, and you grade that person based on their responses and what you learned about them in the interview, okay? So use those forms. Make a written job offer. When it's time for you to make that job offer, make that job offer that includes the new job description and salary. Okay, here's where a lot of people miss it, and I don't want you to miss it, okay? You just remember, when you get ready to make an offer to someone, you're hearing Coach Liz Moffitt in the back of your head saying, do not make a salary offer based on annual salary, okay? Don't ever tell anybody they're gonna get paid $40,000, $30,000, whatever the case may be. If you're paying $30,000 every pay period, then put it in the letter. But if you're only paying, $8 an hour, then put $8 an hour. Or if you're paying $1,000 a week, put $1,000 a week, okay? Because if that person leaves, you've had them sign that offer letter saying that you're gonna pay them that full amount for the year. They can sue you for it, okay? And get all that money. And you gotta go hire somebody else and pay double. Yeah, so if you pay bi-weekly, figure out what that amount is bi-weekly, okay? Very good. Weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, whatever it is, that's what I need you to do, all right? Who's hearing my voice in the back of their head? What is it saying?
I'm sorry.
$98 per hour. That's what it's
There you go. All right. It wasn't, don't sign nothing. Okay, exceptions to employment at will. Who knows what employment at will means?
I have a right to listen.
Yes, yes. What else does it say? It says that as an employee, they have the right to leave anytime they want to, with or without a reason. And the same thing, the employer has the right to let you go at any time that they want to, with or without any reason, okay? But, there's always a but. If you got a progressive discipline process in place and you're not following it, and the reason that you let them go was not, they didn't do anything major and you just wanted to get rid of them, then you might end up, with yourself in court. Now, if you have less than, I think it's 10 employees, EEOC won't even take the claim. But you can, that person can go and get an attorney, and so you're gonna end up spending money anyway, paying to protect your company and your reputation. Okay, so always do right. Okay, question?
I think you answered it.
Okay, all right. Let's see. An employer cannot terminate an employee for refusing to carry out an illegal activity. So if you're doing something wrong, you can't fire your employee for volunteering. If exercising a legal right, for example, filing a workers' compensation claim, they can't fire you for filing a workers' claim. You can't fire them. Performing a legal duty, for example, serving on the jury duty. So if your employee has jury duty, you can't fire them because of that. Whistleblowing, you need to have a whistleblower policy, okay? That means that you're giving your employees the right to, tell it on you if you're doing something wrong, okay? So whistleblower, don't be afraid about it. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. What questions or what things did I not answer for you that you need answers to? I did give you quite a bit of information in your packet. You can see my lovely bio here that tells you a whole bunch of stuff. And then you've got the presentation, you've got the applicant evaluation, and then you have also a flyer that actually gives you an idea of the type of services that we provide. We do human resources consulting, but we do so many other things like career coaching, life coaching, and I'm actually certified as a coach, a certified professional coach, and certified through the state for mediator. Yep, that's it. I told you I like learning, so I just get certified and everything. So let's see, what else do we do? Staffing, what else? Outplacement. Outplacement, that's a big one. Usually when people have me come and help them, let go a person, I can actually offer my services to them to help them find a job based on their skills, because sometimes it's just not a good fit for that person in that environment, in that organization. So I will help them figure out what their next step should be and help them find a job. Okay? So those are some of the amazing services that we offer, and I love doing all of them. And it's just been good for me. I'm not just a person that people call and say, I need a job, you know, and then my response is, well, what are you willing to do to get it? Because, you know, they will go and get, you know, beautified, but they don't wanna pay to, you know, get a lifetime service. Whatever I teach you, you will always be able to use it, okay? And that's the same thing that I expect from the people that I coach. When I send you home with something to do, I expect you to do it. Even though you're paying me, I expect you to do it. Because if you're not invested in it. You don't want it bad enough. That's my thought. Okay? All right. Again, help me thank Sonia for coming out. This has been awesome. We'll be here a few minutes, so if you have any additional questions for me, please feel free to ask me. And I'd like to thank you gentlemen as well, even though he's
Saints fan.
Saints fan.
Saints.
And thank you. Yes, so that's all I was telling you.
Put it right back in there, right?
Right. All right, guys, Paul's gonna pass out some evaluations. Keep in mind, you know, Ms. Moffett, this is the third time. We hope that she gets better at it. The Cowboy fans are not always good at what they do. So be nice to it. I wanna talk to you guys about something. We just recently graduated a Houston class in December of last year. So your peers in Houston are done with their program. One thing we noticed about the results, and it was very similar results in New Orleans class that graduated in November. MMI, take advantage of your personal credit counselor as well. You're not assigned a personal, one individual to help you guys with your personal credit. A number you guys call, and you guys talk to someone, probably someone differently at every time. And that may be an inconvenience, and that may be troublesome because you're repeating yourself over and over again with someone. But the scores in every year except for this year have increased for every participant. And we think because of changes within MMI and the lack of one-on-one attention, it affected our Houston New Orleans classes where they didn't take full advantage of reducing their debts and increasing their credit score. Okay, I don't want it to happen to you guys. I want you guys to take advantage of this opportunity to have that free counselor with MMI to reduce your debts, organize your debts, and increase your credit scores. And even if you, and more importantly, just to organize your debts. Your credit score may not increase immediately, but if you have someone here telling you what you need to do to better your personal financial situation, that's priceless. I'm sure I can tell you that. That's priceless. Personal credit affects your business credit. Personal credit affects everything we do now, from getting insurance, getting a lease. It's very important. And it can be embarrassing to talk about personal credit. And that's why it's all personal and private, where I don't see anything you guys do. But that service is there, and it wasn't taken advantage of in the New Orleans and Houston classes, and our scores increased, but not on a consistent level that we've seen in the past. Before this year, everyone that's going through the program credit score has increased a minimum of 2 points and a high is 120 points. Okay? So every credit score is different. If you're at 720, you may not increase to maybe 725 because you're already at a higher level. But if you're at 580, you're at a 620, you know, your score has an opportunity to grow over this 7-month period. When this class ends in March, I will have everyone's credit report pulled a second time, and we will compare those scores. And I want to see that your scores have increased. I'm looking at you. So take advantage of this. Everyone's score, everyone's credit is not perfect. Believe me, I understand there's divorce, there's emergencies with medical issues, things happen that affects your credit score and not known as the worst thing out there. Know what it takes to get a better score, okay? Take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you so that when it's time to graduate, we look at these numbers. We're gonna look at the credit score increase, we're gonna look at the personal debt that has decreased, we look at student loans, if you have student loans. We have a spreadsheet that tells us how well you guys perform over the 7 months. No names, just the actual numbers. So I want to be able to say that you guys took advantage of that opportunity. Okay? Question?
I'd like to add, if, you know, individual hasn't been doing it, I actually go to the Capital One Bank and receive me on virtual like once a month. And I give him some Starbucks, and he actually sat down with me because I wanted to, purchase a home, and Capital One has a good program for first-time buyers. And we set up a projection of, what I need. He had me get set up with credit card and things like that. So it's good to build a relationship with him too, since we're already in the program. So.
Yeah, and my job in community development banking, I'm now a couple of weeks in Texas, but I've had a focus of small business. But before this year, I've had a focus of small business, workforce development, and affordable housing. In affordable housing, we have a department that works just with what we call low-income families. Not saying you guys qualify as low income, but if you did, there are programs out there that help you purchase your homes at a rate, interest rate, and equity investments that makes it much more advantageous for you guys. I have people in New Orleans who go through my home buyer club who buy a home for $200,000 of a sale price, but their mortgage is based upon $110,000, $115,000. And they immediately have equity of $75,000 because of the programs that we have through Capital One. It's not promoted as much, it's not advertised, but every bank has some type of program to help families achieve home ownership, whether it's first time or second time home ownership. You just gotta investigate, you gotta have the relationship with your bank and take advantage of those programs. There are so many programs out there, and my job, when I was in affordable housing, was to have all the different programs that could benefit you and pull them together and leverage those programs so that you can take advantage of every one of them to reduce your ability to pay the higher mortgage. I have most of our clients pay more in rent than they pay in their mortgage. Most of them, if not almost all of them. So it's just a matter of talking to your banker, talking to someone who knows about the programs, and doing research. Yeah, so I hand go up.
When doing our business plan, I want to know, did we have a budget? Like, asking for funds, was there how much?
10,000.
That was the max?
Just to make it apples to apples, $10,000. You're seeking an investment of $10,000 to expand your business, to do A, B, C, and D. I own a restaurant, I need a commercial refrigerator because I want to do deliveries, I want to do takeout, but I don't have the space. If I had $10,000 to buy a new refrigerator, I can increase my staff, do deliveries, and you show me how that increased investment will grow your business.
And then also, when we do the business plan, it's an 8-part. Do we do all 8 or the major 4 that,
You can talk to Ms. Moore, Lolita Moore, we'll get the class on business plan. The first 4 are the most important.
And what's the due date on the final business?
I'm gonna have the schedule, the course schedule with you, but there will be a day that everyone must present their business plan to the class.
No.
It should be in your binder, huh? It should be your binder.
No,
3rd of March? Yeah, the 3rd of March. It's in your binder. It's in the
first week, at the first week in March.
Right. So it's gonna be due
Soon.
in February. Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna have judges who are gonna hear your business plan, but they're going to rate your business plan, your written business plan first. So that when the judges come to hear you present your plan, there will be a score already there for the written plan. And then they can also rate you based upon how you present that plan, and articulate that plan clearly, concise,
Okay, so
clear,
you
concise,
have
compelling.
that it is due on March the 3rd. That's the due date that you have. So when is it?
It should be on there.
It says March the 3rd that it's due.
And then the next class, you should have the presentation. Keep going.
March 10th, it says that the business pitch competition.
Okay, turn the page.
The app training.
Snake, is it a
is
snake
Next one.
bite you? No?
That's it.
Was it?
Yeah.
On the 17th, the 17th of March.
Oh, there we go. Snake, I
Now
said, where the
read.
snake at? Oh, and it's her birthday.
And the birthday.
I said a snake, I said keep going.
Keep going, just keep reading. Due on the 3rd, business plan due on March 3rd, presentation on the 17th. The business pitch is on the 10th, correct?
Yes.
Business pitch is first, that's on the 10th, that's a little bit easier. That's your elevator speech, clear, concise, compelling. 2 minutes or less, tell me how you want to pitch your business to the investor. Working with Desiree on that. Okay? Fun stuff.
Mark, can I say something? Yeah. I know that on a daily basis, I see a lot of entrepreneurs. So with that business plan, always know when you're going to a bank and you're trying to grow your business, your business now, you guys have left this class and graduated, and now it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years after this class, and your business has scaled up. So now you want to go to a business loan. They're going to always ask you for your business plan. So, and your business plan may be different from 2016, 2018, or 20.
That'll be different.
It's going to be different because you're showing scale, you show growth. Of course, you didn't grew, and now you're trying to really expand your business. So, always remember, you're going to always when you go to a bank and you want a business loan, they're going to ask you for your business plan.
And if they don't ask you for a business plan, they're gonna see your cash flow projection.
Yeah.
You should be able to not only give it to me in writing, but articulate to me your cash flow. Your cash flow should be something you should like your ABCs.
Mm-hmm.
You should know at the end of the month or whenever, what's in back, what's in front. Because if you can't cash flow a loan, I don't care what your plan says, you're not getting the money.
And another thing that myself and my boss see, if you're taking a huge draw from your business, that's a red flag. I've seen businesses where they made $200,000, but they paying themselves, they took $125,000 draw because they a lifestyle entrepreneur. They like the clothes, they like the car in the house and party and all that, taking trips and stuff. That's a lifestyle entrepreneur. That's not a growth entrepreneur. So, no understanding profit and loss, and if you're taking a huge draw right now, don't do it. Put back into your business, because that banker at Capital One or whatever, they're gonna beat you up and make you feel real bad. So really take advantage of these classes, because we do. I beat them up, and my boss beat them up, letting them know that, hey, this is not a smart move to do.
Any questions? We got time to handle any questions about going forward? Take advantage of your mentors, take advantage of personal credit, mentors, coaches. There's a lot out there. Use the resources. Any questions? I'm not gonna be here in 2 weeks. My boss is Lori. She wanted to come see you guys, so I actually canceled my trip. So, there's no fried chicken for Lori.
Is it because football season over?
No, she's gonna be here in Dallas, so we're gonna both be here, so I canceled my trip. So she'll be here, so y'all better be on time. Obviously, y'all the ones who normally come on time. Make a good impression on, and she's in Houston, but she's still a Saints fan too, so. Don't talk bad about me too or either. I'm gonna give, also I have your test quizzes, I'll get that back to you guys.